Hi everyone, it's Debbie with Commonsense Landlording. Welcome to this video. I'm going to talk a little bit about my job criteria. Everyone that knows me knows that I'm big on systems and rental criteria because I use these criteria to help me find a great tenant, which is my goal every single time. I don't like bad tenants. They drive us all crazy. They cost us money and they destroy the property. So one of my rental guidelines, one of my criteria that I get some pushback on is a job requirement. And I thought I'd take a few minutes and talk about that. The reason I have a job requirement is because that is your tenant's source of income. So someone without a job or without a source of income is not going to be able to pay their rent. And I guess I should sidetrack a little bit here. A job may not be their only source of income. They may have retirement. They may have a settlement. I once had someone who paid 2 years of rent in advance and was perfectly happy. And then at the end of that 2 years, continued to pay annually thereafter for 4 or 5 years. I can't remember how long. You may also have someone who has Section 8 or some sort of voucher. Know the laws in your area because here we have to consider voucher applicants. It is the law. So a job may not be the only source of income, but for someone who does have a job, I am looking for consistent, stable income. So this ties back very closely with the income requirement that I have. So someone who job hops is going to have gaps in their pay history, which means they aren't going to pay their bills on time, in full every single month, and that's going to include your rent. So a job requirement is, for me, is essential because someone without a job isn't going to have a source of income, assuming they're not some of these other people who have other sources of income. And I want someone who can demonstrate that they can hold a job. I had a tenant one time that was great for several years. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, she kept having to get new jobs and she quit paying her rent on time every single month. So before that, she was great. And I'm not looking to ding people who are getting better jobs. I'm looking again for the job hoppers. So someone who has been on their job less than a year and they tell you that, the next question needs to be, where did you work before and how long were you there? I've had people say, I was on my previous job 20 years, 25 years, but I changed to this job because I got more money. It was a better opportunity. It was closer to home, closer to family, whatever the situation may be. So don't take their first answer as the best answer. Be sure that you ask questions. Communication is key in this business. We have to be people. We have to actually be able to talk to people. We have to be able to communicate and ask questions. And we have to be curious about these people. What's going on with their job? Why do they only have 12 months written down? So you do have to sometimes ask questions, even though I'm a very hands-off person and I'm not advocating you call them up. Text them. Say, hey, I noticed on your pre-screening form, you only put down 12 months on your job or 8 months on your job. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? That way it's in writing and you're not stuck on the phone with this person who potentially had a really bad situation where they got fired or whatever, and now they don't have a job. Or maybe they just got this new job and it's a temporary job. I've also had people call and say, well, I'm on unemployment and my unemployment, was as much as my job. Unemployment is not a job and that will not count as a job requirement. So keep that in mind. People do try to pull that all the time. So anyway, that's all for this video. Be sure that you join my Facebook group. It's a free group. It's called Commonsense Landlording. I have all kinds of tips out there, and I'm going to be hosting some paid workshops coming up. One is on pre-screening tenants. I will explain that entire system and how that works, and it helps you narrow down your list of people so that you're not running over selling your property to people who don't meet your basic guidelines. And then I've also put one together on credit criteria. That seems to be a huge problem for many landlords. How do you read the credit report? What kind of guidelines do you have? What's important? Over on my Facebook page, I'm going to be releasing different videos on different parts of my system, what my credit criteria are, how to use them, and all sorts of tips and guidelines. So be sure you go out there and you join that Facebook page because it has a wealth of information. So thank you for listening, and I will see you in another video.